Welcome everyone to another episode of The Winning Circle. Today I have a very special guest with me. That just so happened to be my roommate while at Syracuse. Probably the best story I've ever heard that you're ever going to hear. Um, One of the most dedicated people I know. Nolan, thanks for coming on, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. It'll be good to chat, talk about
Yeah,
a little football, and we'll get it
yeah. A
going.
little football, a little life.
Yeah,
I think you can impart a lot of wisdom on people listening here. So, quick
for
backstory.
sure. Yeah.
Let's explain who you are.
So for me, grew up in Rhode Island. I played soccer, basketball, and baseball growing up. Huge sports fan. It's a huge part of my life. And during high school, I think it's important to tell that I was diagnosed and treated with testicular cancer, something that kept me out of school for a little bit of time. Had surgery, had chemotherapy. During that time, it was a lot of downtime, hanging out with my folks. My dad suggested the idea that I go to a kicking camp, always messing around, kicking the football. From there, had a little success. Then decided, this could be a potential future. Then I went to Bridgeton Academy for a postgraduate year. I wasn't prepared for college yet. I needed time to refine academically because I had missed time in school, as well as pursuing this idea to play football. And from there had played enough games where showcase I had some sort of ability.
Sure.
I then walked on at Syracuse where we met, and we were roommates, and rode the bench for a long time. And then when you get your opportunity, go after and attack it.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about it a lot there, so let's kind of, bring it back a little bit and unwind because, again, the best story I've ever heard. So, testicular cancer, what was that like? The symptoms and how did you know what was going on to eventually overcoming it, doing chemotherapy, battling it, and then eventually, winning the battle to come back. And I remember you showed me a video of you coming back during the basketball season, if I remember correctly. Everyone's chanting your name, and I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. So touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about finding testicular cancer. It is more prevalent today, but there's a very high survival rate.
Sure.
It is not. Years and years ago, it was a death sentence for a lot of young men. But I think one of the things is you don't necessarily hear about it that often. You can do really quick things. You can do a quick check in the shower to understand if you have a bump or enlargement. And for me, I don't think I necessarily knew that. I don't think anybody really knew that. And
Sure.
I went for a routine physical with my primary care doctor to participate in high school athletics, which is required. And he had felt that it was an enlarged area, which I then went to go have an ultrasound. From there, it was discovered that I had testicular cancer and needed to
Sure.
be attacked right away. But I think when you're at that age, you don't necessarily there's not much fear. You never think to yourself, "I think I'm going to die,"
Sure.
because I knew that I was in the care of great doctors.
And
I
you're
was
only
fortunate.
16, 17, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I just turned 17,
Yeah.
and for me, I felt so fortunate that I had, you're able to go to places like Dana Farber to go get a checkup there, or go to Sloan
Sure.
Kettering and have your slides sent there, which very few people get to have that opportunity to do. So I felt really fortunate and had an amazing doctor here in Rhode Island, and uh, I think that it was just get to the end for
Sure.
me. What can I do to get my focus towards the end? Yeah, it's sucky. There's times when you feel like shit, and um, that's just a part of it. But I think the important thing for me was having athletics. I knew that if I could focus on one, definitely getting to the baseball season, because this was taking part in the winter when I was getting treated. But maybe coming back for basketball, like you said, I was,
Yeah.
the team was good enough to make it deep into the playoffs where I had an opportunity to come back, but I didn't want to come back just to be some
Right.
charity case. And, I wanted to be a part of the team that was going to make a contribution.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it's inspiring stuff to me. But kind of like what you said too, but you had that adversity, but you never let it get to you. right? You were always working. You always had an end goal in mind. You knew what it took to, beat it, right? And you had an end goal of eventually, wanting to get back to the baseball diamond. But you were able to come back during basketball season, which is great. But it just shows the character of who you are, right? Now, you touched on it again. So you went to Bridgeton Academy after never playing football again. So you took a shot, your parents took a shot. You know, not many people have the opportunity to do that, and you're one of the few that did and succeeded. Um, talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up because Bridgeton is a huge part of I think of my identity.
So,
It's a place where I got a chance to do something I hadn't before, and I think that for a lot of young men, maturity doesn't happen till much later.
yeah,
A lot of people probably aren't prepared to go to college and to have that year away after just going to, finishing up high school, and you see all your buddies going out, they're going to tailgates, they're going to football games, they're going to basketball games. And, but for me, and I think a lot of people could use a little bit of extra time prior to
so,
college. And it was an amazing experience. You get, you're out in the middle of nowhere in Maine. It's all guys, it's all postgraduates. Everybody has a similar end goal to attend the best college that they can and a lot of them go there for athletics.
sure,
And it's an investment in yourself. I
sure,
think more than anything, you have to say to yourself, am I willing to put in the time that, I'm going to study hall every night, something that I definitely didn't do in high school. I wasn't a poor student, but I didn't excel. And I have to ask myself, am I willing to put in the time each night into the books? Am I willing to, I never worked out really in my life. Are you willing to get up at early in the morning, go to workouts, and, you have spring
sure.
practices. So it's a totally unique experience to anything that I had before, but it was an amazing primer to go into college.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you just said, it got you ready for the college level. So in high school, people were waking up, going to school, to a couple classes, practice, going home, right? Whereas college, much like Bridgeton, you're waking up, you're lifting before classes, practice, study hall, dinner, the whole nine, exactly what we experienced in college. So it set you up perfectly. You got right into the routine and just kept going. Um, but something not a lot of people know, I think I know, you DM'd with Riley Dixon, right? He kind of
Yeah.
helped with Syracuse, right?
Yeah, he did. I owe him a lot. And
Yeah,
had gone to a kicking camp that he was coaching at and developed a little bit of a relationship. And
sure.
he was nice enough to respond to me. And
Yeah,
I sent my film, which probably wasn't that good, over to the coaching staff. And, I think it started the process. So, no, he's, an incredible guy to,
yeah,
to spend time for. So, dude that he met, months
sure.
ago and met once.
Yeah,
So you got to be a little bit resourceful when you're,
absolutely.
just a guy who's only kicked in, 7 or 8 football games in your
Sure.
life, and got to find ways to get your foot in the door.
Yeah. I think it's your network more than anything.
Hmm.
Your network is so important, but especially you. Like I remember we'd be, up at school in our rooms and you were on LinkedIn, reaching out to everybody, making phone calls. And I was like, this guy's only 20, 21 years old and he's, set himself up talking to people, which kind of got me going and thinking, you know what? I need to start doing the same. So, thank you for that, of course. But for those that don't know, Riley was a punter at Syracuse who eventually got drafted by the Broncos.
Hmm.
Broncos with the Giants for a couple of years, signed his second contract with the Giants, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. Is he currently still in the NFL
He is. He's punted this past year for the Rams.
for the Rams? Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean that's a hell of a connection you have. And
Yeah.
for to be able to say that he helped you get to your goal and get you to where you want to be, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another thing you touched on, you didn't play for what, 2.5 years?
I didn't punt for 4 years.
Yeah.
I was able to get on the field after my 3rd year of school, was able to
Yeah.
become the holder.
Which is where I was going with this because I remember there was all those nights you and I'd be sitting on the couch and we're doing homework. You're like, all right, you toss me the football, and you're like, all right, give me some snaps, and you were sitting there, timing it, doing whatever, just the little things, the attention to detail, right? Which obviously translates into life. Always, always working which, went from not playing freshman year, sophomore year to you got your opportunity and you ran with it. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Andre win the Lou Groza Award that year?
He did. Yeah.
So, I'm sure part of it's of his leg, but those perfect holds,
Yeah. I mean,
put the
that's
ball where it needs
right.
to be every time.
Yeah. Like you said, it's an attention to detail. That was my
Yeah.
Super Bowl, right? I mean, this is everything. It sucks when you see the team that they're going to LSU, they're playing at MetLife, and you're on the sideline or you're at home and you're watching on TV like the fans are.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It hurts. Those are the things that you want to do. You want to run out of the tunnel. You want to find a way. And I was fortunate to find a way to do it, and had a guy who made me look a lot better probably than I was. Right. I mean,
Well, you got to
it's like
give some credit to yourself. Come on.
yeah, I mean, it's like a caddy, it's like a caddy and golfer relationship. And you want to be as perfect as you can to give him the best chance. And
Sure.
that's your success is his.
Yeah.
What a snapper does, what a holder does, doesn't matter unless the ball goes through the uprights.
Right. And I remember all those nights, and you always talking about op time, right? From snap to hold, getting it just perfect angled, just so that they can get a good kickoff. So
Yeah,
I think a lot of it goes to you. All those nights previously
we
always
worked
worked.
well together. You got to find somebody to work well together with.
Absolutely. So then you finally got your opportunity to get on the field after Sterling left, right?
Hmm.
Punted. And what was that experience like? Your first game, Syracuse football, ACC. Walk me through that. A kid that a couple years prior just battled testicular cancer, won, never really played football at the high school level. Did a prep year to now you're punting for an ACC caliber team, right?
Yeah, going to Chapel Hill to go play. No fans, but it can feel a little bit like a practice in those situations. But it was, I think, more than anything, it's just being grateful for that opportunity. You think about, there's plenty of instances where you think to yourself, I'm done here, right? And in those 4 years, I'm going to play 4 years here. I'm going to get my degree. I'm a walk on, and then that'll be it. But they showed enough faith in me, and I did the same to them, where I had this ability that I could be the next guy in line to be the punter. And no, but when you're in that hotel room the night before the game, a lot of times there's jitters, which is exciting. I like that feeling where you have almost a sense of nerves. It's not this nervy feeling where you're going to break down, but it's this feeling because it's so important to you.
Sure.
And you want to perform at a high level. But once you get to Saturday, you've done the work already. You've already put in 6 days of work and years prior to that, where it's just your time to showcase what you've already done into the
Sure.
lead up.
Yeah. No, it's exactly that. I remember you and I, for those Crucible Friday mornings, waking up at 5 o'clock, walking over to Manly. We have to walk past the weight room and we see the gauntlet of tasks that we have to do. And we're like, oh, this is going to be a hard one today.
Yeah.
And, you were doing that for 2 years at a time. We joke about it, me and you, our diet was just grilled chicken, white rice, muscle milk. So we got in the best shape possible.
Mm-hmm.
And, a testament to you, you ran with it, right? You stuck with it, put that faith back in, the coaching staff. They put their faith in you. And when it was your time to get going, you ran with it. Did eventually talk about the relationship a little bit between you and the coaching staff, because there must have been something there.
Yeah, I think enough to award me a scholarship without ever punting in a game, which is not that unique because you give a scholarship to somebody in high school who's never played in a college game, so it's not that different. I mean, they've seen 4 years of practice, but you want a coach that's willing to tell you what's right and wrong.
Sure.
And you want them to tell you what's good and bad. And I want to be coached. I think that's important. I want them to invest their time into me to allow me to succeed at the highest level. But you also want somebody to give you confidence, somebody that's going to say, I'm putting my faith in you to perform here on a Saturday. And that's an important relationship that you have with a coach. Some people look at it as this is somebody who determines my playing time. This is somebody who determines my success. But at the end of the day, it's your own success. They're there to give you the tools
Sure.
to allow you. And I want to be coached in everything I do. I want people to tell me when I suck at something. I don't need somebody to tell me when I'm good at something or I'm doing it properly. That should be the expectation.
Sure.
But if I'm doing something improperly, if I hit a crappy ball that is screwing over the team, I should hear about it. That's an important thing. I shouldn't be allowed to go through the motions and say to myself, that was okay. Nobody's on my case. I think that's important. I want to be coached hard. I don't want somebody who's going to be yelling and screaming at me the entire time. I don't know if that's the most effective relationship you can develop with somebody. But then coaching, I also want to be able to have a relationship with you off the field. I want them to be invested in what I'm doing in school. I want to hear about where their interests lie outside of football. I want it to be a friendship off the field.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think everything you just said translates to life as well. Life, business, sports, it's all kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone to tell you when you're messing up. You don't necessarily want the praise when you're doing good because
Mm-hmm.
it's expected. But when you're not doing things that you're supposed to be doing, the proper things, coach me, tell me,
Mm-hmm.
teach me so that I can be better next time so that this mistake doesn't happen again, right? Because a mistake one time, it's a mistake. If it happens a second time, it's on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You didn't put the discipline in to learn why it's happening, to fix it, correct it, move on from it. So it's a testament to you and who you are. You're one of the very lucky few in this country to be able to move on to the NFL, right? Again, we're talking about a kid who years prior didn't play high school football, but is now currently positioned himself to be in the NFL. That's got to be one of the most humbling and best experiences I can imagine for a young boy man, right? So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's the greatest job that you can work is kicking a football for me, or throwing a football, catching a football, whatever it is. And I never set these expectations to play. I'll let things happen as they're supposed to. I'm going to put all my time and effort into trying to achieve something,
Sure.
but it's not. When I was playing that last year at Syracuse, I thought I was kind of just this run of the mill, middle of the pack guy. And it just kind of organically happens that at the end of the year, there's a little bit of chatter from some people to say, I think that you could keep playing. And it's like, okay, that'd be great. And then how much can I refine my craft? What can I do to improve my game? Change my focus. And I've been fortunate enough to play for a couple teams, been cut plenty of times, but currently with the Arizona Cardinals, and thrilled for the opportunity to continue to play.
Yeah. I mean, I know just knowing you're going to run with any opportunity they give you, right? Just everything you've ever been through has built you for this moment, and you're going to shine when it's your time, right? So just keep pushing. Because I know you and I have spoken a little bit here and there, and it's got tough. Like you said, it's no one ever wants to be cut. No one ever wants to be in a position to not follow their dreams. But again, it's that adversity, and there's no one better equipped to handle that, in my perspective, than you. And something that, I just touched on briefly before, you're one of the top 1% of the 1% of football players in this country, right? And that's never something to get overlooked. A lot of people would kill to be in your position,
Yeah, it requires patience. It's
Yeah.
not it would be wonderful to be a first round pick and, get this huge signing bonus and, get to play throughout your first, second contract, whatever it is. But as a specialist, just about every guy can tell you the same story, that it requires patience. It's timing, it's patience, it's adversity. You're going to get cut. Every single specialist, just about every guy that I've encountered has been cut. They've been rehired. It's part of the game, and it hurts when it happens, but it sets a new mindset that, if you want to achieve something, you can keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think is so valuable to life outside of sports as well. You learn these lessons and you can apply it moving forward, which is why I think being part of a team and this sports, it molds you differently, right? It,
Mm-hmm.
it challenges you every day. It molds you into a better person, to a better man, a better, whatever you want to be in life. So I think you're learning these lessons for a reason, in my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one thing you could say to a 15-year-old boy or girl listening right now, what would it be?
Patience. It's not going to happen all at once. Um,
Love
it
that.
it if you want to get into your dream school when you're in high school, might not happen, and that's okay. If you want to go play basketball at Duke, it might not happen. That's fine. It's a process. It takes time. You'll end up where you're supposed to if you put in the time and energy to what you want to achieve.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a great answer. I think a lot of people are gonna love that. So what are your plans? Like, you know, you're with the Cardinals now, right? And hopefully, God willing, knowing you'll be there for a while. But after football, there's got to be some ideas rolling around there because I know you were always thinking.
Yeah, throughout high school, you always want to be involved with sports in some capacity. You think about, the different areas. You get to college, didn't play as much, so I obtained internships every off season with different areas, primarily within sports. And then when you get to the pros, and I've been cut, and in the off seasons, I've decided to work internships as well. So for me, I think there's no harm in thinking about different areas that interest you in life. It doesn't mean you have to, say I'm hanging up the cleats and I'm, that's it for me and I'm going to go
Sure.
work a job. But no, I want to reach out to as many people. I'm trying to expand my network as far as I can, hear different ideas, and from different people that, might spark something else in your mind that all of a sudden becomes an interest. And, then you're going to put in the 10,000 hours. But I think that for me, sports has had such a profound impact on my life that I'd be hard pressed to say I couldn't have that be involved in my everyday life.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, like I said, from the time I've known you for the first day, you're always networking. You're always talking on the phone to people, putting yourself in best position to succeed, whether it's football, life after football. And I commend you for that because it really got me going as well.
But I
To
think for you too, you can attest to the fact
Yeah,
that there's you can learn a lot from people. You learn a heck of a lot more from other people. I don't
yeah,
have, that there's only 24 hours in the day that
yeah.
I can do things. These people have a
Sure,
different 24 hours than I do. So
absolutely.
they're learning from different things. And if I can pick their brain for 10,
Yeah,
15 minutes, you can learn a lot.
yeah. Like I think the cliche saying, "God gave you two ears and one mouth for a reason."
Hmm.
Right? Listen more than you speak. So whenever I'm talking to somebody who is in a position that possibly I want to get to where they are, or I know there's something I can learn from them, I ask them a lot of questions. Whether I'm annoying or not, that's a different
Hmm.
story.
Right.
I want to learn everything, right? I'm a, young man, same with you. There's so much wisdom to be learned from people who are at these spots that if they're giving you their time, they see something in you, right? So ask away. Don't be afraid to ask questions, which I think is so important to figure out, who you
Be
want
a
to be.
be a lifetime learner.
Yeah, lifetime learner. That's a great. Love that one. That's great, brother.
Hmm.
So, I want to thank you so much for coming on with me today. I was excited about this one. I was. I've been talking about it for a little while. Whenever somebody asks me what the greatest story is, you come to, right to my mouth. The adversity you've been through, there's no better testament to who you are as a man, as a person, than your, trials and tribulations, right? Going from testicular cancer, taking a shot, playing football, you went to a camp, right? Who knows what that's going to entail? From there, you're reaching out, you're networking to the Syracuse punter at the time. He was able to get you a shot. From here, you get into the school. You don't play for 2.5, 3 years. You take your opportunity and you run with it. and you put the work in all that time to be able to position yourself to now have an opportunity to play in the NFL, right? There's not a lot of people like you out there, and it's a privilege of mine just to know you. So, thank you for everything.
Well, I appreciate our friendship, and I know that you have experienced similar things in
But
life where, no, we're not always going to get the hand that we're dealt, but sometimes it's okay to take the scenic route.
yeah, absolutely.
There's some good views on the way.
That's for sure, brother. Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on, and I know a lot of people are going to enjoy this one and listen to what you have to say.
It's been awesome, brother.
You too. Thank you, man. We'll talk
Yeah,
soon. All right.
you got it.
Thanks, brother.